Alright, hello, citizens of the Nigelverse. It is Nigel here, and today I have got another video game review for you guys. So today, we're going to be reviewing Detroit Become Human. So, as always, I am not a professional video game reviewer, just a man who enjoys a good time, and I definitely had a fantastic time with this game. This game was actually recommended to me by my friend Steve, who was recommended from a friend of his. So follow Steve and his friend What's Up 232 both on Twitch. Twitch at What's Up 232, and then follow Steve at Plax TV, and also follow him on YouTube at Plax TV. He awesome content creator, and he actually recommended this game to me because he played it not too long ago. Well, so I decided I would stream it live on Twitch. So if you haven't already, go follow me there at the_ndiddy. That's THEE_ndiddy. So and I'm going to be going live next month, and we will be announcing what game we are playing next month later on in this video. So go follow me there, and I'm glad I did get around to playing this game because this game was really fantastic and really awesome, and not in like the traditional way that you would think, but in a much different way. But we'll get into it. So uh, for starters, for those of you who've seen these types of videos of mine before, you kind of already know how this works. For those of you who are new to these videos of mine, basically I'm going to be talking about what I liked about the game, what I didn't really like about the game. But let's get right into it. So, what I liked about the game, and perhaps one of the game's biggest strengths, is the narrative. This game has a very interesting narrative, and I think it's played out in a really fantastic way. Oh, basically, how this game works, or the lore behind this game, I should say, is that there are two sides essentially. There's humans, and then there's androids. So androids are like humanoid machines, robots essentially, that are subservient to the humans, perform several tasks and everything. And there's different androids set up for different things, and we play as three different androids throughout the game. There's Marcus, who is like a caretaker of this old guy, but he seemed more like a son. And then through my actions, because this game is based on your choices, through my actions, he gets kicked out, finds Jericho, and finds solace with them, becomes their leader, and wants to fight for freedom for the androids. Then there's Cara, who's like a housemaid. Unfortunately, she died pretty early on because I wasn't able to stop her owner from doing some pretty bad stuff, and so she unfortunately died. And then there's Connor, who's like I guess the main one in a way. They're all kind of three. Well, Connor and Marcus, that is. Cara, not quite as much, although it's probably kind of my fault. But Connor is sent directly from CyberLife to help with the police and investigate androids going deviant, basically rejecting their programming and deciding to be free and live in freedom amongst themselves. And it's interesting because um, this game, which is choice based, and that's another great thing about this game, is that through your choices you can see different sides of the androids, and you can see different emotions throughout the androids. And we see that the androids, which they try to spin as like, well, the humans anyway, try to spin as like, oh, they're just machines, they're subservient to us and everything. But the androids have feelings. They experience love and other emotions and stuff like that. So they can't be too much of just machines. It means that they experience emotions and stuff. And I think that is something that the game is very aware of and makes very apparent, is that these androids are indeed human, so they're becoming human, which fits the name of the game, obviously. So you can further that along, you can fight for the freedom of the androids, and do all kinds of stuff with that. And through your choices, the characters can become deviants. At the end, while Cara did die off, like I said, both Marcus and Connor would become deviant. Connor freeing a lot more androids, and I ended up getting freedom for the most part for the androids. Either or the fight continued, was kind of not really a cliffhanger because it could have continued, but then again, I feel like the way that game ended off was like perfect. How the androids are now fighting universally for their freedom, and that I ended up using a dirty bomb to make Detroit, where this game takes place, make it uninhabitable, at least for humans. Which I admit I kind of didn't want to do, but the humans kind of started it. But that's another thing I like about this game is that it presents kind of both sides. So it presents some arguments as to why you can side with the humans, and it presents some arguments as to why you can side with the androids. For me personally, I sided a bit more with the androids, I guess, because I ended up fighting for their freedom, and depending on your choices, also affect how the characters interact with others around them, whether it's fellow androids or humans or the public in general. Well, the public ended up being somewhat skeptical, a bit hostile because of what the androids were doing, at least some of the time. But I ended up making them somewhat sympathetic, and the how I played more so Marcus as opposed to like Connor I played mostly straight until the end where he becomes deviant, but by the time we get there it's pretty much like the last level. But how I played Marcus is that I guess you do have the option to where Marcus can be either a violent leader because he does kind of like rise up to be the leader of Jericho, getting them supplies and getting them out there and everything. And so he can be like a violent leader, or he can be like a peaceful leader. And I chose kind of a little bit of both. To where I tried peacefully, I tried to do stuff as peacefully as I could, but I resorted to violence if I had to. When the humans attacked the androids attacked back because you're not gonna attack me and just get away with it. I gotta attack you back. I'm sorry, but I'm glad the game definitely gives you that choice, and the game doesn't necessarily make a judgment call. Judging by who you want to stand with, the game will kind of present both sides and lay the option out, and there will be arguments to support both sides. You can support the side of the humans, you can support the side of the androids, you can support neither. And I love how the game doesn't necessarily funnel you towards one path. It kind of lets you choose versus other games, well, most other games which have more of like a linear path where you are the good guy, or in some cases you are the bad guy, and you're doing good guy stuff and you're doing bad guy stuff, and those aren't necessarily bad things. Obviously the linear games were just as well, but I feel like with the narrative that this game was presenting, the fact that it's not linear and it's very much choice based, I think works well with the narrative that the game is trying to put forth. And the game explores a lot of things, or a lot of themes, I should say, a lot of very prevalent themes that we talk about in our lives. There's some of the more obvious ones, machines versus nature and stuff like that. At like, is the machines gonna take over? Are they gonna take over? Are they a detriment to nature and everything? Are they defying the laws of nature? But then there are some other themes that don't become apparent until you get further into the game and until you really think about it. Themes such as like racism and slavery and oppression, and definitely become more prevalent when Marcus becomes the leader of Jericho. Oh, and he's presented as similar to like Dr. Martin Luther King or Malcolm X. It's to where he's fighting for freedom, almost by any means necessary. Like I said, I didn't try to be too violent, but I tried to mainly keep it peaceful. Well, but the game, as it unfolds that way, you definitely see those themes come to light, and you see how they play out throughout the game, and it's done in a very interesting way, and it makes you think, why are the humans so prejudiced against the androids, and why won't the humans let the androids be free? Why do they see them as just machines? So these themes definitely make you reflect on the game as you're playing it, and every time played it. Some of it did traumatize me a little bit. It's immature, so they have the freedom to do so, obviously. But it also left me wanting more. I wanted to see where the story continued and how the story continued, I should say. And I wanted to see how things unfolded and how things continued from there. But the other thing that I really liked, and this was more of a personal thing for myself. So another game I played in the past is called Deus Ex. It's more so like the prequel ones that came out in around 2013 and 2017, if I'm not mistaken, which is Human Revolution and Mankind Divided. So there's a lot of parallels between those games and this one, where it's also humans versus not necessarily androids, but more like augmented people. Oh, people who have like cybernetic implants and stuff like that. Those themes are apparent, and that game also has choice-based gameplay, and that one has is also set in Detroit, I should say. Now that one, while there is choices, the story is a bit more linear than Detroit. It's not 100% choice based. There is stuff that you like have to do, and there is, for the most part, a very concise narrative that doesn't really deviate too much. You don't have too as much freedom as Detroit Become Human, but still a really fun game, and I definitely recommend it. More so, Human Revolution, Mankind Divided was, but so noting those parallels between these two games definitely made me resonate with this even more. And I do like how the parallels match up, and it feels like a similar story being told, but they do it in very different ways. And there is a chance that perhaps that game did influence Detroit Become Human, but as for what I didn't really like about the game, and this is a bit more of a formality, just like a kind of nitpick, is more so the gameplay. The gameplay is very simplistic, and it makes sense because this is a game made by Quantic Dream. They're the people who made the Heavy Rain game, so they have a lot of those gameplay mechanics there, such as like going around on an area, sort of doing some investigation, performing like very simple actions with just a few button presses and everything. But it makes sense because this is more of a narrative game. It's not like crazy revolutionary out there gameplay. There's there's usually a couple different types of games. There's a more gameplay based game where you're more so there for the gameplay, and the narrative, while the narrative can still be really good, the gameplay is definitely where it's at. That's games like Crash or Mario or the Batman Arkham games, or like God of War or Assassin's Creed. But then there's games that are more narrative, where the gameplay is kind of it's kind of it's kind of just there, or just to call it a game, but it's more like an interactive movie. So games like the Telltale games, and obviously this one, Detroit Become Human. So this is more of a narrative game, so I can forgive the lack of like a revolutionary out there insane gameplay, because that's not why you're here. You're here more so for the story, not for the gameplay. For a gameplay based game, you're there for the gameplay, but for this game, you're more so here for the story. So, well, that can be forgiven. But nevertheless, really fantastic game. And honestly, even the small amount of words I've had here cannot do this game justice. I absolutely love and enjoy this game. If you haven't already, go check this game out. It's only like $20 right now in the PlayStation Store, and it sometimes goes on sale, if I'm not mistaken. And I did end up getting a bundle with this and then Heavy Rain, so I may play that at some point. But thank you all so much for watching. If you haven't already, go follow me on Twitch at _ndiddy. That's THEE_ndiddy. Subscribe here to my YouTube channel if you like this video. Subscribe, like the video, comment below your thoughts, not just on the game, but on my review of the game. Share it with your friends. Turn on bell notifications so every time I upload a video, you can see it as soon as it uploads. And I will see you guys later. Peace. Oh, well, actually, hang on. Before I go, I forgot to announce the game I'm gonna be playing next month. So, next month, because it is the Halloween season, we are going to be playing Dead Rising. So, definitely a lot of fun, and at least from what I heard, and I can't wait to get into that. So, stay tuned for the Halloween season. I'm actually gonna be doing a lot of cool stuff for Halloween, but I'll talk more about that later on. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.